According to a book that is set to be published called Trump and His Generals, The Cost of Chaos, Trump once made a crazy suggestion about North and South Korea policy at the start of his presidency, which shouldn't shock anyone who has been paying attention because Trump repeatedly suggested nuking a hurricane. So this isn't as crazy as that, but it's pretty darn close. Not as crazy, but it is also crazy. Long before President Donald Trump called North Korean leader Kim Jong-un Little Rocket Man or met him in person, Trump had an idea to safeguard millions of South Koreans from the dictator's wrath. Move them all. According to an excerpt from Peter Bergen's new book, in April 2017, after seeing a satellite image showing that Seoul, South Korea's capital, home to 10 million inhabitants, sits just 15 miles south of the country's heavily militarized border with the North, Trump asked, "Why is Seoul so close to the North Korean border?" Okay, by the way, it's a given that Trump did not know where Seoul was or any basic geography about the Korean peninsula, so I love how that's the very small point in this entire excerpt. He then made a rather unorthodox suggestion. "They have to move," Trump said, referring to the city's residents. "They have to move," he repeated. Those in attendance at the Oval Office briefing were uncertain whether or not Trump was joking, Bergen writes. Trump, Bergen notes, had already been briefed numerous times on the danger Seoul faces every day. The city is in direct firing range of thousands of pieces of North Korean artillery that are already lined up along the border between the two countries, also known as the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ. So rather than come up with a peaceful solution, Trump's idea was to push, whether by encouragement or presidential decree, I don't know, 10 million people out of a city and have them move. And I guarantee you he wasn't joking. Like, he's an entirely impractical person. 10 million people, that's like the population of Sweden. Just move. It's all good. He doesn't have any concept of scale or reality, what it's like to live as a human without tons of cash. I guess like picking up and moving is fine for him. He can get up and move to Mar-a-Lago because New York has gotten too rough for him because no one likes him there, which is actually what he did. But most people, they have roots. They have jobs that aren't transferable. They have families that they care about. And additionally, what makes matters worse is that he then escalated his rhetoric with Kim Jong-un. This happened after he learned about the nuclear threat that Seoul could be destroyed.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary.
Yeah, so remember that. At the UN, he called him Rocket Man and threatened to annihilate North Korea. So for Trump, it's not even about saving people. He wanted them to move because it was an inconvenience to his bluster. He wanted to continue his aggressive rhetoric against Kim Jong-un without blowback in the form of people dying, because if they were harmed, he would be blamed. That's how he thinks about everything. He still used the inflammatory rhetoric anyway, even after learning of the threat, because calling him Rocket Man at the United Nations was worth it for his ego? Who knows? It's impossible to make sense of this individual, but I guess we have to try.